Hey everybody!
Hello, TDIF.
Woohoo! It's Dog Friday! Thank dog it's Friday! All right, we've got another fun craft for you today. We're gonna wing it today. This is gonna be a little bit on the fly. So as you probably saw, I sent a photo of some of the ingredients for our craft today. Some socks and water bottle. What's up with that? So anyway, we're going to take these crazy ingredients and we're going to make some dog toys today. I was so excited. We're going to have a lot of fun.
And I did want to mention the inspiration for these particular toys that we're going to be creating came from a couple of different blogs, and we will provide the links to those as well. So one of them was Proud Dog Mom, and then the other one was the Crafty Blog Stalker. So we will provide links. In this live stream recap, we'll provide some links to those particular blogs where we got the inspiration for these.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the first one we're going to do is has the water bottle in it. So you take your socks and your water bottle,
and for the water bottle, a little tip on this one, depending on the size of your dog, you'll know, like, for Leon, he's a little older, he's got fewer teeth than he used to, so it works better to have kind of the squishier types of water bottle than some of the harder plastic ones. So I have a couple. Yeah, I have a couple that are real squishy, so I think that will work well for this particular toy. But if you have a large dog, or your dog likes whatever, you can use those. And then the other thing is, depending on the size, obviously you'll need a particular size sock in order to fit a water bottle into, but there's also the little sort of 8-ounce water bottles. Those may work well for smaller dogs. So just another thought to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. In fact, I was looking for those little water bottles because I know Clover this would have been, I think, a little bit too big. I mean, this might be a good place for her to chomp down on. We're making a crinkly noise, right, toy, and that's what the water bottle's for, is to kind of give it a crinkly noise to it. But this water bottle probably would have been too big for Clover. I would have, the blog post that inspired this had those nice, cute little water bottles, and I was looking for those and couldn't find them. So I'm gonna use a bigger one today. That's probably for a Labrador. One of the things you want to do is remove the cap, because you don't want that to become an obstruction or anything like that. The other thing I wanted to let you know is if you have used socks, you can pull them out of your drawer, anything like that. But I just got these from Dollar Tree. So they were, $1 a pair. So you don't really have to spend a whole lot of money. And these I totally fell in love with. I was like, oh my gosh, this is meant to be. So, and then the other ones are little popcorn on them. So they're cute. And yours are cute too. You've got little.
Yeah. These were definitely found out of my husband's drawer, because I needed some that were actually going to be long enough. So I've got little mushroom ones. And then I have another set that it's really the length of these guys that won the day. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, well, this will be fun. So I'm going to start with my popcorn sock. So the first thing you want to do is just take the water bottle and.
Actually, before you put the water bottle in, another thing that you can do, if your dog just likes the crinkles, that's great, but you can also add a few kibbles inside here. So there's also a shaky noise and a little bit of the smell that comes out. So my dogs are crazy for these particular treats, and they smell delicious. Like, they smell actually great, not just for dogs. They smell like blueberries. They smell great, but they have a strong scent. So I think it'll work well. I'll just put a couple in each bottle, and then they'll be able to not only crinkle and play that way, but they'll also smell it, which I think they'll be very interested in.
For sure. for sure. Yeah, we don't have any more kibbles left, so or treats. So we actually donated all of those to our local vet before died. But I love the idea of adding the smell. I've seen this tutorial elsewhere, and they didn't talk about adding the kibbles, and I think that's just a really great idea. It's really, really cool. So then I'm a little ahead of the game here. So I've got my water bottle, and I'm gonna just tie a knot right at the top there. So pretty easy. And I'm gonna take my scissors. I'm just gonna cut, basically just making fringe. Just gonna go down to the knot. And that's one thing. Oh my gosh, Daisy and Clover, I don't know what it is about toys that they can whip around, even if it's still in their mouth. They just love like all the fringe, or like if it has a tail, or like whatever that toy is that has a swinging component to it. They love that. And this also makes an easy place for them to grab. So if they don't want to grab the toy by the bottle.
That's definitely what I'm thinking. These bottles might be a tad big for Leon, but he'll definitely be able to grab on this fringe and tug away at it. And I think it'll be, I think it'll be a good one. I have a little Lulu who's interested in it already. We're not done yet. Like, I think I heard a treat bag crinkling.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the call of the wild.
Yeah.
A treat bag. All right. I think I'm done. I've got my little, looks like a little rocket ship of popcorn. I don't know. It's kind of funny looking. All right. It's a lot cuter on the tutorial. I think it's because she had just a tiny little bottle, and it was really sweet. But this would be fun. And I like the crinkle sound and the shape and everything. I also like the fact that it doesn't have a squeaker. Squeaker toys, I love them. They're great. But so Clover never tore her toys up. Not a single one. Like she would just, well, first of all, she didn't know what toys were. So that was a little sad. But once she kind of figured out what they were and that she carried them around like little dollies. Like she would take them from one room to the next room. She'd just carry them around and then plop down and sleep next to them. She was so cute. Daisy, on the other hand, our first dog, Beagle, oh my gosh, when she was younger, she would, they wouldn't last 30 seconds. And I was always worried about her swallowing a squeaker and things like that. So I like the fact that this doesn't have that concern. You don't have that concern with this.
Yeah, and actually, as you mentioned that, one of the things to keep in mind with the bottle is to take off this top cap, because that can be a choking hazard as well. So you're tying the knot in the sock right up here anyways, so there's no need to really have to close it with that cap, because again, it can be a choking hazard.
Exactly. So another fun one that I did while Hillary's finishing hers is isn't this cute? I love this little braided. So I took 3 socks, my little popcorn socks, and I braided them, and I tied one end. And the way I tied the end was I cut the end of the sock. That's the end of the sock. I just cut it in half. And then I would tie a knot, and I'd tie a knot, and I'd tie a knot with the different ends on one end of the braid. And then with the other end of the braid, I cut the little toe, the toe end in half. And I did the same thing. And then I just kind of wove them together at the end and just knotted them. I just thought this was so cute.
That one turned out adorable. I love
like
that
a little bracelet. It's a fashionable bracelet here. So that was a lot of fun. Then the other one, well, let me see what yours look like. I didn't get a chance to see what your
So again, just the same.
Yeah.
So they both have one, so they're the same.
Yeah, no, that looks really cute. That's cute. All right, then the other one that we're going to do a couple of them here. The other one we're going to do is you're going to take your sock, and this time we're going to need a tennis ball. And we just happen to have one lying around the house.
So in my case, I have two separate tennis balls. So I'll be making, again, two similar, not quite the same this time, but the Leon version and the Lulu version. We'll see. I have a feeling Leon will get both of them because that's the way toys go around here.
Now this one starts with a knot at the end, right?
Yep. So on the toe end, I think just makes the most sense. So you put a knot a few inches from the bottom of that toe. And if you have, you can use, like these are kind of like knee socks, so they're pretty long. You can also use thigh length socks, so thigh high socks. If you have thigh high socks, the longer the sock, the more knots you could put before you put the tennis ball in. So
mine, not so much. Mine's kind of a shorter sock. So we'll see how this one goes. And then you just fit the tennis ball in there. And as Hillary said, you could do a couple knots before you put the tennis ball in, but my sock's a little shorter.
yeah, and I'm doing a couple knots before.
Those are some pretty crazy long socks that your hubby had. But he's got long legs, so.
Yes, he does.
All right, then I've got my little tennis ball here. I'm gonna have a beagle showing up on it. Let's see if I can do that. Adjust the knot.
So I have my two knots. Then I have the large size tennis ball. I'm going to tie another knot at the end here, right after the tennis ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm. That's about all I can do is a knot on either side with these socks. I thought they were long enough, but that's okay.
And now I'm going to do one more knot here before I tie it together. So.
Oh, look how cute yours is turning out. So yeah, get longer socks, everybody. Do what Hillary's doing. Don't do what I'm doing.
All right. So there's my tennis ball, two knots on each side. And then I'm going to cut these in half at both ends and then tie them together so that it makes a circle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I ended up doing for my little wreath one. It really makes it easier to, because if I was just to take these two ends to try and tie them, it would be really hard. There's too much material. So if you end up cutting,
yeah,
you cut it, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So I am such a perfectionist. I had to adjust it so that the beagle like showed up perfectly on the ball. Nobody cares. Certainly a puppy won't care. They just want to play with the ball.
So now just tying these ends together. And there we go. So you have a little bit of fringe for them to pull on at this end as well.
That's really cute.
The tennis ball here.
Yeah, that's sweet. I like it too because you could throw it, right? The tennis has some weight to it, and you could throw it in the backyard, and then that would be a great one. That would be a great one to do. Okay. Well, while you do your other mini tennis ball one, I'm going to take my last beagle sock here, and I'm going to make. So one of the blog posts said you could make. They called it a snake, which you fill it with batting or stuffing, and then you tie a knot at the end and fringe it off or if you want. Instead of adding batting, which I have, but I thought, why don't I give it a try? I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to stuff it with socks. With a couple of old, well, these are new, but I'm going to stuff it with a couple of socks and see how that goes.
That's a great idea. And one of the things, obviously these ones are clean, but used socks, like they still have their smell on, you know, that your dog will smell you on them, things like that. That's something else to keep in mind.
Yeah, you know, that's a perfect idea. This would be the perfect little DIY craft to do before you go on vacation or something, or before your dog has to be boarded somewhere, or, you know, something that's got your scent on it, to remind you of them. Or to remind them of you, I should say. Okay, so I'm just taking, I have literally like 4 socks. Now they're not all thick. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not real thick socks. So you might only need a couple of them, but I'm stuffing this little beagle sock, or not so little beagle sock, with all these other socks, and see how this goes. So yeah, literally like $3 at the dollar store, you know. Actually, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 pair of socks, or so at $4 at the Dollar Tree. This is really not, if you think about going to those fancy pet stores and getting toys, you can spend $18 on or $15 on a toy. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it sort of gets away from you before you really, you're like, oh my goodness, that it really starts to add up. When you get to the checkout, you're like, oh.
Well, and then when they tear through them in 5 seconds. It's like, you know, Daisy, like, you're lucky if it lasted 30 seconds.
That is for sure. Not so much now, but Leon, he would go through, it could be the kind that were made of fire hose material. It would say like indestructible right on the front of it, and it would guarantee no dog can get through it. He would tear through right where it said indestructible, and he'd be pulling all the pieces apart.
They find every perfect seam or anything, like anything that they could get their teeth on. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, well, here's my little, I'm not gonna fringe the end. Go back here a little bit. So yeah, so that's kind of cute.
That's cute.
Well,
so this one, I'm just cutting the ends again so I can tie them together.
Alrighty. Oh, I like that little mini tennis ball. Those are adorable.
Yeah, it's nice because there's lots of little knots in between on this one that I think will be a good size for Leon to be able to really get a hold of and shake. And
yeah, for sure. So you've got perfect one for Leon and another one for Lulu. That's adorable.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Leon will end up with all of them eventually.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes. So just finishing up my final knot.
Well, hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us today. We're having fun. I hope you're having a good time watching the impromptu craft here. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. That's
yeah.
Well, these were a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We've really had a great time. We're looking forward to doing this every Friday. It might not be a craft. Who knows? If you guys have ideas for things that you'd like to see us give a try, we'll give it a try, I guess.
We'll give it a shot, yes, for sure.
Anyway, thanks so much for visiting us. We think about you guys all, and big heart for everybody, for our We Heart Hounds family. We really truly appreciate all you do for us, and hope everybody has not only the best Think Dog It's Friday, but an enjoyable weekend as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
You.
Bye-bye. See you next week.